You know what would be awesome is if these two albums just somehow converged. You know what I'm saying? That would just be so cool. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to be making this video today as I am finally reviewing PetroDragonic Apocalypse. King Gizzard's 24th studio album released back in June, meaning I've had a lot of time to listen to this album over and over again, allowing my opinions on it to fully develop. And of course, typical Hutch is on. I'm making this video the day before the sister album to PetroDragonic Apocalypse, The Silver Cord, will release on October 27th. Honestly, I wanted to make a review for PetroDragonic Apocalypse when it came out, but if you've seen my Omnium Gatherum review and my Ice Death Planets review as well, my opinions change on albums like really fast. So I made those videos pretty shortly after those albums released. And a few months later, I would look back on them and be like, wow, my opinions are just so different as to when I first listened to it. Also, since this album has dropped, I've actually refrained from any social media, excluding YouTube. So I have really not heard any other people's opinions on this album. I haven't watched Anthony Fantano's review of it. I haven't, been in the huge Reddit discussion threads, kind of hearing what everyone's thoughts are. And I think that might be for the best, as I feel like I am very swayed by other people's opinions. And it's not something I'm really happy about. It's just I can't help it. If someone says, oh, I really don't like this song, I kind of go into it like, why didn't that person like it? Like, what about it is not good? And I don't like that. I really want to kind of go into things on my own and just let my opinions develop. Also, PetroDragonic Apocalypse is the third album in the Fishies, Rat's Nest, PetroDragonic, and now Silver Cord saga, picking up right where it left off in Rat's Nest. And with all that said, let's get into my review for PetroDragonic Apocalypse. Full title being PetroDragonic Apocalypse, or semicolon, Dawn of Eternal Night, an annihilation of planet Earth and the beginning of merciless damnation. Yeah, I thought Ice Death Planets, Lungs, Mushrooms, and Lava was going to be hard to memorize, but this is tough. I feel like every time I say it, I kind of say a new combination of words that don't sound right, so I had to read it off the album cover thing right here. So at the end of Infest the Rat's Nest, we saw Earth just going through a lot of shit. It is in horrible condition, and we had a bunch of rich people kind of saying, you know what, screw this, we're going to just leave planet Earth. The mess that we had a huge part in creating, we're just going to leave. We're going to go to Mars. We're going to go to, we're going to go to space and escape this shit. Which eventually leads to them self-immolating themselves and dying and going to hell. And so at the beginning of PetroDragonic Apocalypse, we are now back on Earth to see what the rest of humanity is up to. The first song being Motor Spirit. So I guess I'm kind of starting really quickly by saying this, but Motor Spirit is my favorite song on the album. It is an amazing start. The main theme of it being humanity's love for burning gasoline and other fossil fuels. Hence the Motor Spirit. The repeating Motor Spirit part all throughout is just fantastic. And honestly, every time I listen to this song, the rest of the day, I'm just repeating Motor Spirit in my head. Motor Spirit also has plenty of foreshadowing in it that will preview the rest of the album, such as there's the riff from Witchcraft that will play at certain parts of the song. But my favorite part of the song, and honestly probably my favorite part of the entire album, is during Motor Spirit when it gets really slow and proggy, and you got that part that just sounds like it was ripped right from Polygon Wonderland. And then the song gets almost completely quiet before this incredible guitar riff starts playing. And again, anytime this is playing, my head is just like head banging back and forth. It's so freaking cool. And then there's this like burnt rubber, grave robber, fire starter line that Stu does, and it's just epic. And I know epic is so 2012, but it's just epic. You know what I mean? And then regarding the last 2 minutes of the song, for a while I was kind of like, is this really necessary, or should the song have stopped by now? But I've come to love this section of the song, especially how it loops back to the Motor Spirit part, and then eventually has this incredible transition into the second song, Supercell. Again, the transition from Motor Spirit into Supercell is just fantastic. I love how it gets kind of quiet, and you just hear a little bit of static before the insane guitar riff starts. Supercell refers to the massive storm that is forming due to humanity's Motor Spirit. If you look at a tornado on a weather radar, you will see these sharp edges being formed in a circular formation, like a tornado. And these are referred to in the song as these sickles being sharpened and being formed, which I thought was really neat. The Supercell, Bombshell, Carousel, Raising Hell part is absolutely fantastic. I think it's impossible to listen to this part of the song and not like sing along. It is absolutely fantastic. And I am absolutely like stunned that this song was not included as one of the lead singles, which the whole lead single thing I will discuss later when I get to Gila Monster. But I really think this song would have done well if it was a standalone single. But as is, it's an absolutely fantastic song in the album. And now we head to Converge, which I actually did a little post on my YouTube channel kind of asking, what's your favorite song from PetroDragonic Apocalypse? And a lot of people said Converge, or Converge. I don't know why I said it like that. Babies. This is also the first song in the album that really features a Ambrose section, which is great. If you go back to Infest the Rat's Nest, Ambrose really did not have many credits on that album. So it's absolutely great to hear him, in a heavier style song, giving his contributions vocally. The song itself is about the supercell that was formed in the last song really starting to converge and take effect and really starting to have an effect on planet Earth. Cavs absolutely kills it in this album with his percussion, and it's really pronounced in Converge. The percussion from Cavs, along with the opening guitar riff, really gives this song such a great start. And maybe this is a weird way to describe it, but I've always found, especially the guitar riff, to be like bouncy. I don't know, it just kind of goes like bum, 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 bum. Like, I don't know, I really liked it. Maybe bouncy is not the best word to describe it, but actually at my first job post-college, I worked with someone who was from Scotland, and he would describe King Gizzard songs specifically as crunchy. Like, I remember we were talking about LW when that album came out, and he was like, oh yeah, Plura, that song is so crunchy, which, I don't know, I always thought that was great, but this song is definitely crunchy. If you use crunchy to describe music, like, let me know in the comments below. I don't know, I found it funny. A message in the song that I thought was really great was the idea that Earth doesn't care if humanity goes extinct. I mean, the Earth has seen the dinosaurs go away, it's seen other extinctions that I can't think of right now, and so it's gonna live with or without us, and it really doesn't care if we leave, especially when it's the issues that humanity has brought upon itself. And now moving on to Witchcraft, which is another favorite that I saw from my subscribers. So again, thank you so much for giving your input. But yeah, Witchcraft is a very unique song in this album. It introduces a good bit of synth and electronic notes. It really gives me vibes of Polygon Wonderland. And actually, someone had mentioned that they thought that this song reminded them a lot of Nonagon Infinity, which after listening to this song again, I can absolutely see the connections. This song sees the storm that was presented in the last two songs. It is now fully going, and now the witches of the earth are trying to kind of, create like a solution to that problem. And what is their solution? Taking an innocent Gila monster and doing a bunch of shit to it until it eventually transforms into a dragon. Which is foreshadowing, I'll get to that in a little bit, but this is the beginning of the transformation from Gila monster to dragon. This is definitely a song that took me, a few listens to truly start to really love, but yeah, I can absolutely see why so many people has this as their favorite, as it's starting to become one of mine as well. And now we move on to maybe my controversial take of the album as we get to Gila Monster. So Gila Monster was the lead single for this album, and okay, so let me just say this. I really do like the song, but if you go back to my Ice Death Planets review, and I was talking about mycelium, the repeating mycelium thing all throughout the album kind of, especially my first few listens to the song, I was kind of like, do I really like this? Over time, that I got over that, and mycelium is like one of my favorite songs from that album, but I still haven't got there yet with Gila Monster. Like, the song itself is great, but the repeating the Gila Monster thing, I don't know, I feel like it would be fantastic in a live setting, and I can't wait to eventually hear this song live, but I don't know, I feel like it's not a song I can listen to over and over and over and over again like I could with Supercell, for example. It just kind of gets a little grating. I hate giving like controversial takes on King Gizzard music. I love it all. It's hard for me even like, coming up with my controversial takes because, I'm pretty blinded by my love for the band, but that's probably my biggest hot take from this album. The song itself sees us going back to the Gila monster that I mentioned in the last song. It is now fully growing. It is becoming Godzilla-like, as it says in the song. It's starting to eat the witches that caused it to transform in the first place, as well as it's beginning to eat humanity itself. Bringing us into the next song, Dragon. Now this, for a while I did say this was my favorite song in the album. It's very close with Motor Spirit. These two songs are absolutely fantastic. But I will say, I so wish, one, that okay, this is maybe a little more selfish. I wish it wasn't a single. That maybe it isn't really, whatever. My issue is that I listened to it before the album came out, because I so wish I listened to this song in context with the full album for its first listen. I think I'm going to make a video in the future talking about, like, my thoughts on singles prior to albums releasing, but usually I just try not to listen to them at this point. For example, the Silver Cord that's releasing, I haven't listened to any of the 3 singles that I've released for it, because it unfortunately kind of just, it creates a thought in my brain, which I'll get into. Which is that, for some reason, whenever I listen to the album post it coming out, when I get to the songs that were singles, I see them differently, I guess. It's a way I can describe it. Like, I'll get to it and I'll be like, oh yeah, this was that single, you know what I mean? Again, it's kind of hard for me to describe, but like, Ice Death Planets, for example, I listened to Ice 5. That was the only single I listened to before that album came out, and so every time I listen to that album, I'm just like, oh, Ice 5, the single, it's hard for me to kind of separate it, or it's kind of hard for me not to separate it from the rest of the album, if that makes sense. Please let me know in the comments if you feel anything similar. I like how I'm making a video about this album that's, talking about how humanity's destroying the earth while I'm drinking a bottle of water. Seems a bit ironic to me. Anyways, ignoring all that, let's get back to Dragon. I would say that this is probably the title track of the album, even though we do have the song Dawn of Eternal Night, Beginning of Merciless Planet, Humanity, Damnation, whatever it is. We do have that as the album exclusive track, but for the most part, I would say Dragon really just encapsulates this entire album in one song. The way I would describe this song is it's like the Krusty Towers from SpongeBob, just like a ridiculous number of floors to it. I feel like every 15 to 20 seconds, you just go up another level in the Dragon Hotel. I guess it's a weird way to describe it, but I don't know. I just view the song as having so many different layers to it, and you're just constantly going up in the hotel. Yeah, this is really weird. I love the repeating, PetroDragonic Apocalypse. So good. Again, this just gets stuck in my head. I'll be doing dishes, and I'll just be like singing to myself, you know what I mean? It just gets in my head all day long. And then also the fantastic dragon, stop the dragon part as well. Like, going back and forth between the PetroDragonic Apocalypse and that dragon, chorus is just fantastic. Again, stuck in my head all day. Dragon, stop the dragon, dragon, stop the dragon. The song itself narrates humanity's attempts to take down the massive Gila Monster dragon hybrid that has been formed, in which the attempts are all for naught. As the dragon just continues to eat humanity, breathing its fire breath all over the place, her Earth is in pretty bad condition right now, let's just say that. And at the end of the song, the last remaining bits of humanity that are alive, they witness the dragon just causing havoc on Earth, and they're just like, damn. And now we move on to the final song in the album, Flamethrower. Again, another song that I just saw so many people saying that was their favorite, and I could totally see why, as Cav's percussion on this song is just amazing. It's amazing through the entire album, but probably it's most pronounced in this song. The flamethrower, throw a flame part is great, and the guitar riff that follows right after that chorus is just so Giz. That's just the way I can describe it. Like the da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Like, it's Giz. You know what I mean? It's Giz at its best. The flamethrower, throw a flame part kind of just happens over and over again. But the last time that it happens, the vocals get really slow, and it's honestly kind of chilling. My take on that is that kind of just symbolizes the life on Earth, like truly just starting to fizzle out and become extinct. And now the second half of this song sees us in space as things get really electronic-y and synthy, and it's just brilliant. Again, Cavs does a fantastic job. And then at the end of the song, what do you know, Motor Spirit finds its way back as the Motor Spirit thing ends off the album incredibly, and that is the end of PetroDragonic Apocalypse. What a wild ride all throughout the album. I love the story that is in it. I love, it kind of just builds upon what was started in Infest the Rat's Nest, and it's awesome. And it gets me so hyped for midnight tonight when the Silver Cord drops and we presumably pick up right where we left off at the end of PetroDragonic Apocalypse. With songs such as Extinction appearing on the Silver Chord, it gets me super excited to just hear, what's next. Alright, so now time for my closing thoughts. Is this album better than Infest the Rat's Nest? Yes? I will say that the slower sections in PetroDragonic Apocalypse give it a real great sense of variety. Not saying that Infest the Rat's Nest didn't have variety, but I feel like PetroDragonic just really, it's very different all throughout, and I really love that. It's got its synthy proggy notes and Ambrose notes that are, incorporated so well with the heavy music, and again, I really love it. What are your thoughts on PetroDragonic Apocalypse as we head into the Silver Chord? Do you love it? Are you just not a fan of anything King Gizzard does that's heavy related, which honestly I totally understand. I'm weird in that I just love everything they put out, but that's not everyone. Some people are just like, okay, like we got a heavy album. Let's just I'm excited for what they do next. And I totally get that. Leave me your thoughts in the comment section below, whether it's your thoughts on the album itself, or did you listen to the singles for Silver Chord? What are your thoughts on those? Are you hyped for the Silver Chord? Whatever it is, let me know. I'd say that's pretty much all I got, so thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Also, I really kind of want to have this review perfectly transition into my Silver Chord review when I eventually do it, so what can I do? Yeah!